Hey, what's up, y'all? Decided to start a new series called Synchronicity. It's going to be basically a combination of both the concept of synchronicity and also my own personal synchronicity, which will yield, in essence, in some ways, maybe a stream of consciousness way of unveiling my internal and external reality. Now, one of the first things that comes to mind lately, I use a lot of kind ofs, likes, maybes, and the such in my vocal patterns. This is primarily why I'm talking in this stilted fashion, is to remain inherently mindful of these verbal patterns of mine. I do a lot of fidgeting. Things like this, that, a lot of external body movement that's not particularly useful. One of the most basic things that I noticed from working with the video camera is, and more specifically speaking into the video camera, and in turn sharing the fruits of these talks, I noticed these things. Anytime you want to make change in your life, I've been taught, primarily through Buddhist teachers, that it's a twofold process. When you find an aspect of your personality or an aspect of yourself, first thing is just acknowledging it non-judgmentally. Just see it. Just notice it. Like, for instance, sometimes I put my finger right on the microphone. You can aim for aspiration, and you can create the better, more refined situation that you're moving towards, by creating that environment in your mind and creating the intention and as I said, the aspiration to fulfill this. So it's a twofold process of acceptance. Now, like, for instance, like right away I noticed, and I'll put the camera up there so you can see it, where my hand went. But I do this, I pat down my hair. Ever since I got this haircut, I've been patting down my hair. Maybe to people watching, there may be a sense of, well, what's the big deal? So what? You fidget a little. Your speech is a little stilted, or seem to overuse that word, or not particularly refined, such as using words as stuff, things, not being specific. Staying with the theme of synchronicity, the first thing that comes to mind is Tony Robbins talks about specifics and being specific. I'd rather go slow and draw these thoughts out of me and maintain the level of clarity, specificness, move away from the ums and such. The whole thing is going to be a process, especially these type of meandering thoughts where it's not pre-planned, it's not pre-thought. It's just kind of letting it roll off the tongue, letting it be. It's a journey in that sense, and I do find it important, and I do find it meaningful. That's why I'm embarking on the journey. That's why I embarked on any of these processes and these points of development. There's a small group of people that actually take a look at what I'm saying, or I don't know if people watch the full content, and a lot of times I don't know how they feel about it. Comments sometimes fall rare and in between, one of which is Decorders Damien. Username Decorders, first name Damien. He doesn't put up videos. He's an avid watcher. I devoted a video to him, a question that he had asked about reaching to higher levels, which Father Max graciously expounded on. And that was great fun. Maybe I'm not acting as in great fun, the somber way that I'm elocuting right now. Did you see the hand? There it is again. Okay, so maybe there's not a lot of movement going on in this video, but that's what I want to take things slow and I want to build things. If you see some of my earlier videos, you'll realize that I do that a lot. Ground up type way of building, and you can also see things get out of control really quickly. And sometimes that happens in actually in my life itself. Getting caught up, jumping faster and speaking before I really formed everything. This series is called Synchronicity. It will take a little while to really form. It's my confidence that through this process I can truly take advantage of the synchronious elements of life. I know Jung talked about synchronicity a lot. I know you see it. It's the name of a Police album, which is actually the first time I ever heard the term. Jaworski is the name of one of the guys, not the football player, quarterback back in the day. So now you've seen the synchronicity starts to come and starts to kind of build. The random nature of it can kind of create connect the dots, almost a pointillist way of looking at things. I tend to think in these meandering terms. It's just hence my name, Path. Jaworski is one of the authors in the book Presence, which I came to through author Peter Senge, and I came to through teacher at Shambhala. I went on a week-long retreat, Charya Arawana Hayashi, and Peter Senge came up because she was working directly with them, which is basically a group of Westerners who, oddly enough, seem to be stumbling on a lot of what some of these Easterners seem to have already connected with. There seems to be a deeper approach by a lot of Western business, science, intellectual types trying to find a better way. We're all getting so burned out in our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day attainment and the ecological disaster that we're seeing around us. And it seems like people are more apt to just get caught up in this media torrent and get trapped in a losing focus, losing sight, and losing part of the big pictures. So that was what I was getting from the work of Senge and others. In the book Presence, it's a good working model. They use a model called the U model. It's a way of centering, bringing things through the U. I'm actually going to look at it a little bit more before I try to describe it to you. If anybody listening has any exposure to it, perhaps they could help us out, or anyone else that has any exposure to concepts of synchronicity and has something to add, I would really appreciate it. It'd be helpful, and it would help to build on what I'm looking to do and understand, and basically plug into these elements.